just when I think to myself, it can't get any worse, right? And then it gets fucking worse. The Eagles lose their third game of the season, and for the second time this year, they blow a massive lead because of numerous issues that this team is facing. We'll dive into what those are as we discuss our takeaways from this sloppy game, plus injury updates and how we bounce back from this short week and more. Without wasting any more time, let's dive right into it. What's up, y'all, and welcome to 2nd and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Old City Sports Network, the best network for all your Philadelphia sports needs. This is your host, Michael Roscoe. Now, before I dive into this episode, I want to wish all the viewers who celebrate out there a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving. When writing this episode, I'll be honest with y'all, it's going to sound like I'm not very thankful for the Eagles, but you'd be wrong because I am. And this team means everything to me, and just when they're not doing great, things can get a little emotional, so to say. But at the end of the day, I am thankful for this team and the sentimental value it has brought me throughout me and my family's life. And I also just want to say that I'm thankful for God, my family and friends, and especially my wife. She is my rock, and I wouldn't be where I am at today without her. And today is a day where we remind ourselves who and what we are thankful for. And so I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Okay, now let's roll into the episode. The Eagles had this game in the bag. And in true 2025 Philadelphia fashion, we blow it in the second half. We didn't score a single fucking point. And the Cowboys put up 24 unanswered points, making a comeback win in the second half, capped off with a Brandon Aubrey field goal. This was just disgusting to watch. All we had to do was literally just keep doing what we were doing in the first half, and the game could have been a blowout. But no, our offensive coaching staff starts play calling like scared little bitches, making stupid fucking decisions and self-sabotaging us to the point of cardiac arrest. The Eagles were up 21-0 with 41 minutes left in the game and just fucking blew it. Looking at the stats of this game, you'd think it's not the players that are an issue. Jalen Hurts went 27 for 39 passing, a 69.2 pass completion rate for 289 yards, 1 touchdown, while also rushing for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. A.J. Brown had 8 catches on 10 targets for 110 yards and a touchdown himself, easily one of his best games this season so far. Then you could look at guys like Saquon Barkley and say otherwise, as he achieved 10 carries for a measly 22 yards, but he did have 7 catches for 52 yards in the air, so that's saying a little something. And then you think about all the penalties we have accumulated here, and our players are just shooting themselves in the foot by just sloppy, undisciplined play. But at the end of the day, teams rely on coaching, and the coaching this year, it has not been it. Before we dive deeper into that, let's look at some Eagles news. Starting things off, Eagles second-round pick rookie safety Andrew Mukuba suffered a fractured ankle in the loss to Dallas, and as of Wednesday evening, he was officially placed on IR, in which he will miss a minimum of 4 weeks. In other news, with Mukuba landing on IR, this opens up a roster spot, which allows wide receiver and return specialist Britton Covey to be signed from the practice squad to the active roster. Now, I don't know why it took us this long to get Covey back onto the active roster, considering how well he has been in the return game for us. Because this year, our return game has been shit. And with our special teams Week 12 performance and the injuries that have come across with that, hopefully Britton Covey can turn things around for us. Additionally, the Eagles will wear all black uniforms this Black Friday as the Birds take on the Chicago Bears at the Link. And finally, as of Wednesday, 11 Eagles have injury designations, including Saquon Barkley, Reed Blankenship, Devontae Smith, Brandon Graham, and Landon Dickerson. The injuries vary across the board, along with their respective designations. The final injury report will come out after the recording of this episode. Smith's injury, or injuries, should I say, are a little bit concerning because he's listed with a shoulder and a chest injury, along with an illness designation. I'm not exactly sure what this is all about. Does it have something to do with why he flew separately to Dallas last week? I'm not exactly sure, but hopefully it's not significant enough to keep him out of the game tomorrow. The good news is that on the defensive side, we could see Reed Blankenship play as his thigh injury continues to heal, and it turns out to be not as significant as people originally thought. All right, y'all, time to dive into our takeaways from Week 12. First takeaway I have, Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, and Jeff Stoutland are running this team into the ground. Now you might be thinking, okay, Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, that makes sense. But Jeff Stoutland? This guy's a legend. And I'm not saying that he's not. Jeff Stoutland has done fucking incredible things for this team over the years. But this year has been in shambles. Now, I'm not ignorant to the fact that we've not had a healthy O-line probably all year long, but Stoutland is also our run game coordinator, in addition to his O-line coach responsibilities. And the run game this year has been non-fucking existent or inconsistent as all hell. Saquon Barkley is coming off his historic season last year, getting a Super Bowl win in the first year with a brand new team, and he's just getting shut down. Our run game is basically nothing at this point. We do the same shit every time with Saquon Barkley and in the second half of games, so much so the defenses know what we're going to do before even we know what we're going to do. It's fucking ridiculous. You got O-linemen having no idea what the fuck is up with the run game. Fred Johnson's like, I have no idea. I'm not a coach. Lane Johnson's inadvertently mentioned coaching issues. But I feel like every player, maybe except Devontae Smith because he's been a drama-free king all year long, has publicly complained about the offensive performance from the coaching level. I'm hoping this is not the beginning of a Jeff Stoutland downfall, but this is just not his year so far. Don't even get me started, though, on Nick and Kevin. These two boneheads are burning this team to the fucking stake right now. And at this point, I can't tell which one of them is making it worse, so I'm going to just throw them both together at this point. We've literally seen the same thing every fucking week now. We play lights out on the first half, and then just fucking give up in the second half, and or all we do is run inside zone with Saquon Barkley 120 times a game. Take the fucking straitjackets off of our players and let them cook. It is that fucking simple, and Patullo can't do it. Kevin Patullo has the rhythm of an unseasoned chicken breast. Something has got to give with this offensive coaching, and honestly, it needs to be their egos. For Sirianni and Patullo, they're up there in the press conferences with these politician-ass answers, diving around the most obvious of questions, such as what the fuck is going on with the offense, and providing these vague or infuriating answers that do not set the tone for us getting out of this offensive slump. And with the way things have been throughout press conferences this week, I'm not even sure if we will this year. The second takeaway I have from this game is that from this game and overall, this year has been one of the most poorly organized seasons in recent Eagles history. After a Super Bowl win, you're bound to lose players in free agency. I'm not ignorant to that. But we really shit the bed on refilling those empty roster spots lost in free agency. Let's talk about the secondary. You let Darius Slay go, which I can understand. He would command a decent amount of money that the Eagles were not willing to pay. I get that. But then we didn't keep Isaiah Rodgers, who was not a liability whatsoever. We let him go get signed by Minnesota on a 2-year, $7 million contract. You're telling me we couldn't shell out less than $4 million a year for a guy who would have been the certified cornerback 2 opposite Quinyon Mitchell, and then he's also having a baller fucking season? Yeah, that was a huge mistake. We decided to go the cheap route, and it hasn't fucking worked. Adoree Jackson, injured and not good. Keely Ringo, not good. Jacorian Bennett, injured and not good. Poor choices with the cornerback 2 position this year. Then you had the safety position, and we just decided, keeping only 3 safeties, one of which we drafted this year, won't be a problem. Well, now we're down to 1 healthy safety. You know how many safeties you need on the field in a game at one time? 2. And instead of signing Justin Simmons early on or at all at the time that I'm recording this, you go and get Marcus Epps, a guy who we let go in free agency for a reason, who has the same energy as Sidney Brown, and he hasn't been the best either. And he gets injured. This week, both Reed Blankenship and Andrew Makuba, our 2 starting safeties, got hurt with a significant fracture to Makuba. I've been saying this shit about needing safety depth all season long for this exact reason. We got 2 long snappers on our roster, but we can't get more safeties? What the fuck is up with that? And then you have problems in the coaching staff. You let Nick Sirianni, instead of seeking outside the organization for an experienced play caller, hires an internal pass game coordinator who works with a run-heavy offense and has never been a play caller before. Not at the high school, not at the college level, not at any level. I had a feeling we were going to lose Kellen Moore to a head coaching job. It would have been impossible to pay an OC a head coach salary, but at the very least, could we not have sought after an experienced play caller? Did we not learn from Brian Johnson and the 2023 season collapse? These internal hires at offensive coordinator do not work. Why don't we understand that by now? The organizational crew above the coaching staff has got to have something to say about this, right? Especially when Sirianni is doubling down on Kevin Patullo and saying he's doing a good job. Where's the good job? Because I can't fucking find it. Now, I know we've had some rough patches organizationally, such as the 2019-2020 Howie Roseman drafting era, the Chip Kelly era, and so on. But we learned from those mistakes. Roseman got better at drafting. We fired Chip Kelly. When are we going to learn from this disaster? I hope things above the coaching level get worked at soon to fix the coaching level, because at this rate, I don't know what is going to fix it. And last takeaway from this game is the defense is being treated like an outstanding office employee in a negative way. I feel like the biggest victim of this offensive bullshit is our defense. They've been playing lights out over the past few weeks, keeping teams like the Packers, the Lions, and the Chiefs to 17 points or less. They're doing their job, but are suffering because of how well they're doing their job. Hear me out. And I gotta imagine people have experienced this before. You're at a job, you're doing a damn good job at that job over a period of time. Maybe you're the best employee in that group. Your boss notices, and instead of rewarding you with something like a bonus or a salary increase or something tangible, you know what you get rewarded with? More work. They see you as the only competent person, and instead of investing time to level the playing field by getting the other employees to your level, they give you a heavy workload while essentially rewarding the lesser performing employees, and then you become burnt out. That is our Eagles defense right now. The defense was on the field for more than half of the game last week. Our offense is so abysmal that the entire coaching staff is relying on the defense, and you just can't do that. This is a fucking team. You need to be able to count on everyone to pull their weight, not just one person or group of individuals. This is a sabotaging cycle. Kevin Patullo calls a decent to good play calling series in the first half, all is well. Then it's the second half. KP play calls too conservative. The Eagles go 3 and out. The defense goes out on the field and either does well or gets scored on. The Eagles offense returns. We play call conservatively. We go 3 and out, defense back on the field, and now they're kind of gassed. They get off the field. Offense goes 3 and out yet again. Defense returns to the field, is even more gassed out, and the cycle continues until we either allow the team a bunch of points to make the game closer than what it should have, or we just fucking outright lose. We saw it with the Bucks. We saw it with the Broncos, the Giants, the Packers, the Lions, and now the Cowboys. Our defense is in a toxic relationship with our offensive coaching right now. And if the offense doesn't get their shit together like yesterday, I got to imagine the defense is going to get burnt out and we're going to see another epic 2023 collapse. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and preview Week 12's matchup versus the Chicago Bears. The Eagles return to the link to officially end our alliance with the Chicago Bears, as the Bears have defeated each of the Birds' NFC East rivals, while the Eagles took down Chicago's NFC North rivals. Only one team, though, will sweep a division after Friday afternoon. The Eagles come off an embarrassing blowout loss to the division rival Dallas Cowboys, while the Bears are coming off a win versus the other Pennsylvania team, the Steelers. This will be the league's third ever Black Friday matchup, and it's bound to be a good one. Here's what I think the Birds need to do to have a bounce back week and get a win over the 8-3 Bears. First things first, you have to. It's not even a fucking option at this point. You have to get creative with the run game. We have been begging for this shit for weeks, as this run game has looked like the biggest piece of dog shit this year. The team barely utilized running back Tank Bigsby last week, but that's got to change this week for sure. We need to have more of a split back scenario and allow Tank Bigsby to get more snaps, especially when he's been averaging almost 8 yards a carry this season. The whole running inside zone bullshit, it's done. Just fucking stop doing it overall. I don't care if it's successful one time this season, cut that shit out. You got creative with the Devontae Smith motion and pitch, which is exactly one of the plays I mentioned they should have done in last week's episode when they had played the Lions, and yet we saw nothing creative after that. Chicago has statistically one of the worst rush defenses in the league this year, ranking in the bottom 3 in yards per carry allowed to runners, and ranking in the bottom 5 in rushing yards allowed per game. In theory, and again, in theory, our run game against them as a run-heavy favoring offense should allow for the Eagles to have success in the run game. Next thing we need to do, and this is pretty simple, is protect the ball. That's pretty much all we need to do right then and there is protect the ball. We've got to protect the motherfucking ball. I'm talking about through the air and on the ground. The Bears lead the league not only in interceptions, but in total takeaways. While the Birds have the fewest giveaways in the league, well, now they're tied with 6 with the Bears and the Chiefs, I think, after this week. We had 2 really bad fumbles that helped contribute to our second half downfall. Put 2 hands on that motherfucking ball when we are running it. And in the pass game, I'm not saying Jalen needs to pass conservatively because we've seen how helpful that's been, but he's got to be mindful about reducing the amount of overthrows that could potentially be picked off. The Bears' weakest area in their defense is at the middle linebacker positions. Let Dallas Goedert get separation in the middle, considering how well he does for us with getting short gain passes that turn into a bunch of yards after catch. And then get Devontae Smith or Jahan Dotson, if Smith can't play, on some semi-deep routes that go towards the middle, and we could be in good hands for this game, y'all. And finally, this is the biggest one. Maintain possession of the ball for the majority of the second half. Look, we've seen quite a few fourth quarter comebacks across the league, whether it be the Broncos or the Cowboys against us, or when we did it versus the Rams, or when like 6 teams did it against the Giants. The point being, there are a lot of teams and quarterbacks who are really great this season with fourth quarter comebacks. And we are facing one of them in Caleb Williams tomorrow. Our defense cannot allow the Bears offense to march down the field and put up points, especially if we put up a bunch of points in the first half. And part of that is our offensive coordinator needs to actually call smart plays and actually make adjustments. Not just say he will in press conferences and then not do them in games. We are tired of empty fucking promises. If we have a lead going into the second half, our offense needs to maintain possession of the ball at least with enough time for our defense to recover from their previous drive. They shouldn't be on the field for 40 minutes at a time while our offense can only be on there for 20. All right, y'all, before we end this episode, I got some predictions. And in theory, this should be a cinematic game. And depending on what your view of cinema is, you could be right. But if you're an Eagles fan this year, the last few games have been everything but that. And I'm not sure I'll see much of a difference this week. However, that doesn't mean I can't manifest a bounce back week for us, which is why I'm predicting yet another close game, but with us on top 21-17 this time around. I could see AJ Brown finding the end zone again, and then I'm going to go a little wild this week, y'all. I'm predicting that Jahan Dotson and Tank Bigsby find the end zone. Black Friday is a crazy time of the year already, so we got to expect the unexpected. All right, y'all, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at 2nd and 15 or by the full name 2nd and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. You can find the audio for each and every single episode releasing Thursday mornings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM, or wherever you get your podcasts, with the video uploading to YouTube later that same day. This episode, 2nd and 15, and Old City Sports Network are sponsored by Warlord Beard Oil. Head on over to warlordbeardoil.com and use our promo code OLDSPORTS to save 15% off of beard oils, washes, and many other products for all of your beard care needs. This is a veteran-owned company, goes to a great cause, and orders over $75 will get you free shipping. That's warlordbeardoil.com. Once again, thanks y'all for joining in. This is 2nd and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Old City Sports Network. Don't forget to check out the game tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time only on Amazon Prime. We'll see you all next week. Once again, have a happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle, and as always, go Birds!